Haven't seen you guys out here at the Boneyard in a while. How you doing? It is turn the water on day to make sure nothing's exploding. At least up here. I'm not going nuts and turning it on everywhere else. Apparently I've got a valve open down there that didn't get shut. It's alright. There's not much over there I need to be worried about. We had a situation where the fence over there got backed into, so they replaced it. 200 feet of it. We just had to replace another 200 feet over there. Problem is, when they replaced the fence, they had to tear up my whole water line. So I don't. Let's see. I can tell you where. I can tell you exactly where. From here all the way north along that fence, I have no sprinklers. And from here about 150 feet that way, I have no sprinklers along that fence. So my pressure is going to be a little screwed up, which is why I don't care that that's on right now. Let's take a look. That's a tad bit low for how much should be running. But then, you know, it's lower than what I would want it, but it's not so low that I'm like concerned. So now, a handful of flags. We can take a walk. It's been a busy winter, man. We had a ton of burials all winter. You know, our average is 6 or 7 a month. We had 12 one month, 10, 11, 9. March, we had 7. And that felt like nothing. That was like easy, man. Then we had snow the other day. So we're just going to take a little walk. Make sure that everything that should be happening is what's happening. Got a sprinkler in the ground there, and there. They're all up doing their thing. Those two aren't on right now. I don't have volume enough to run those. Everything looks fine. Let's go take a walk. Because where we had to tear up for that fence, which looks great. Guys did a great job. There were a couple of valves, and the way they were wrenching on that fence, I didn't want them to break my valves. So I dug them up and replaced them. I cut them out. They finished the fence and put new ones in. So I want to make sure. They tried to fill the hole in. Bless their little hearts. Okay, no water. That's good. But yeah, from here all the way down, I got no water. And from here, you know, water coming out of something somewhere down there. Let's go take a look. This is really one of my least favorite days because of this. I thought we were broke down there, but apparently we're not. We got water coming out of there. And we got water coming out of that big old hole. I knew that was going to be a problem. We've got a coupling in there that's pretty bad. Yep, looks like it just totally blew apart. Okay, that's all right. That is not because of the fence. So we'll flag that. We'll walk down here and flag this end. Okay. And everything else up here looks good. That's just fine with me. So we'll go shut the water off. There's a valve right there by that tree. Close that. We'll go down there and close that one. We'll open up this section here. See what it's gonna do. I was really hoping that we were going to have the new pipe for up there before I got ready to turn the water on. Did not happen, clearly. So, you know, it is what it is. I'll just have to manage. Anyway, I'll move some water and see you in a bit. Hey, we're up here again. This is the valve I was telling you about by the tree. And that's full of water. Right in there. And that shouldn't be full of water. Water wasn't on long enough for that to fill. So we may have a problem down there. The way we will determine if we have a problem down there is can do one of two things. These are not on that valve. They should be. They're not. Well, actually they might be. Now I think about it, I think they are. Anyway, we'll turn the water on again in another section, and we'll go see if we get water coming out of that hole. If we do, that means either the valve itself is leaking, or it's got a crack on the supply side or the dispersal side, whatever you want to call it. There we go. And the other thing we'll do is, once all the water is down out of that little pipe, that little hole there, we'll start her back up. And I'll go and watch and see if it fills. And if it fills, how much it fills. Or how fast. So, probably going to have to dig that up. Not too bad. Now, in this little section here, from about that same tree, that one, this way to the north, none of this is on its own thing. It's all on, all the time. So what you gotta do is you come up and you turn all these on by hand. I also had a headstone fall over. It's not heavy to the point where I don't, I can do it, but the base is beveled a little bit, and I don't want to get it up there and try and walk it and have it slip or get damaged more. So, gonna get a hand on that one. This one should be open, though it's not part of the thing, I don't think. Oh, it is. Must have just tapped it in from somewhere else. We might have a leak right there. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, it's just hitting and running off. That's okay. Those are easy to fix, but doesn't mean I want to fix them. Got a lot to do this week. I have 4 burials this week. I got 2 today, 1 Thursday, 1 Friday. I'm going to take my car in and get a new windshield put in. There's something else I needed to do this week. I don't remember what it was now. Oh, if you're watching the Groove Machine Dome stuff, there's a project in there that needs some attention that I was going to attempt to do this week. Guess we'll see. One of the last things I did before the end of the year is, see these flags here? There's a headstone there, and there was a sprinkler right next to it. And I moved it out here. Now, I don't know what happened, but it's not quite as tight as it was before. I don't think it's leaking, or it would have leaked when we had that on, but I need to dig this up and do some work on that. Fill in the rest of that channel. And we're going to put some seed around that. Let's see. That's where they picked up a headstone to be repaired. That right there is a drain valve, so we don't need to worry about it. It is closed. I really didn't want to be doing this till like next week, but it's starting to get green, and that means it's going to start growing whether I'm watering it or not. Like I said, it snowed the Saturday before Easter. Spent all day Sunday and Monday melting. So there's a ton of water in the ground right now. The ground is really wet. And, well, like it or not, I'm going to dig up this thing. I swear it's bent. I don't think it should look like that. Now, I don't have to irrigate, right? I think I can get away with not for another week. Hopefully 10 days. But I don't want to be out here trying to troubleshoot when I should be watering. And the weather's going to be nice enough this week. I said 2 days ago, it was like 30 degrees. Snowing. Today it's supposed to get up to 70. Or nearly. So, yeah. I'm going to try and take advantage of the nicer weather while I've got it. To do a little of this. And up here is generally not too bad. The older part of the cemetery. The newer parts where we've been running into more problems because it gets used more. Okay. So run down there, close the valve on that. We've got 2 to open in this section. We'll fire it up and come take a look again. Be back with you in a minute. Hey, we're back. Everything's buttoned up that needs to be. Everything's open that needs to be. We got a whole different segment that's got to come up to pressure now, so keep an eye on that for a minute. Cleaned up in here a little bit over the winter, moved some stuff around, built some stuff. Still got some more I want to do. There's a sprayer right there on the wall I want to move. Snowblower back there I want to move, and a tamper over there I want to move. Okay, pressure's coming up. Probably should move my cart though. Let's do that real quick. Alright, so now what should be on is this whole section here, and then 2 sprinklers down there right about where that car's driving through. Go fast! Is that Lori? That might be Lori. That's Lori. Hi, Lori. You were here once already today. That's why I thought it was safe to do this. She's a nice lady. Her daughter and parents are buried over there. Very, very nice lady. And I'm not just saying that because she brings us cookies once in a while. I'd say that if she didn't bring us cookies. I'd say that if she told us she wanted cookies. Okay. The one I'm most interested in is that one over there I moved. That one could probably take the diffusion out of that one just a little bit. We'll worry about that another day. Those 2 across the street look like they're doing fine. These are all right. Now the wind's going to start to blow. So I wanted to get out here early before it started. Wind gets cold. A little bit of a hole there. Okay. So this guy used to be right over there by that headstone right in the middle of a row. Was a pain in the neck to mow around. Especially with that headstone there, which itself is a pain in the neck to mow around. So when I came out, I couldn't turn the water on when I set this up. But it doesn't need to spray across the road like that one does. So I've got it set. We're hitting that poor little teddy bear, I think. I will adjust for that. So ideally, where this one stops, that one across the road will reach. And then that one and that one will hit us in the middle. And I think we're going to be fine. That's a little more diffused than it needs to be. But it's going to hit this headstone right here. We've got some water right there. And we'll see where that one goes. But I don't see anything over here. Looks like it's acting out of the ordinary. pressure may be a little tiny bit low. That's not bad. Oh, we're coming. What I'm concerned about is I might have a spot just like right here, right in the middle. And the wind isn't helping me with my positioning here because it's blowing that one pretty crooked. We've got a little bit of a dribble coming out of the side of that one. Yeah, now we're fine. Got right up there. So there's just a little tiny spot right here. We'll wait and see what the wind does. So that one is coming out to about here. We may need to move in a little bit. Or the other thing, which I think would be the smarter thing to do, is put another one up here somewhere. Honestly, that whole row should be against the road spraying that way. Not right now, they're not. That looks like it's struggling a little bit. And that one, they could just have some sediment in them. Okay, we can work with that. Again, wind, absolutely not helping. Like that guy. It's not that windy yet. And I don't know what our pressure is. Our pressure could be a little low. And we'll check that when we get back to the pump house there. We're going to take a walk down this way. Another part of the problem is something I'm working on getting situated here is because we've got to move, or so many of these are so high. We get really inconsistent coverage. That's something I've been trying to work on, but just because of, being short-handed, I don't have time to just come up here and spend a day, And the way some of this place is piped in, like that side down there, I can't work on that at all when the water's turned on, because it's on all the time. Anywhere else up here, sure, no problem. And that little guy right there, looks like he might be running into a situation. And could just be dirt. Could just be dirty. Stick a flag in that. Everything down? Nope. Not everything down there. I see it. Do you see it? How about now? Do you see it? I can't see my screen, so I don't know what you can see. Right there. Get a little break. That's gonna be fun to fix. Get out of here. Okay, well, that's not terrible. And yeah, seems to be pretty good over here. Another hole. Now on our way back, should have done this on the way out, but I didn't. Stop and look at that hole over there that was filling up with water. should have gone down at least a little bit in the time it took me to, walk around and do all this. No bad sprinklers though. We got a couple that I think are dirty. Okay, that drained pretty quick. So here's what I'm going to try. While we're up here, we got the water on. Just going to give it a little bit. Yeah, there it goes. Put a flag in it. So that means either the packing in that valve is bad, or the valve itself is bad. And water's coming up through the thing that it shouldn't be coming up through. Yeah, like this. Water comes this way. We open the valve, water goes this way. Close the valve, water stops. So if you open the valve and water goes this way and this way, there's some material in there, it's called packing, that is probably bad. Or it's gone and the valve itself is bad. It's not generally too bad of a fix. Problem is, that is on a big pipe that I don't have the tools to work on. So if it is bad and we need to replace it, that's a job for our local water department. It's just down the road that way. All right, not too bad. Not too bad. We will come up and clean all the baskets out of a lot of these when the time comes. I'll take a look at this. Yeah, we could back that screw out just a little bit. Then it would throw a little bit farther. I don't know why these two are so close together. Boss put this one in. He shouldn't have put it there. It should have gone that way or that way about 8 feet. Come out to the road, but that's way too close to another sprinkler. Okay, and these should have gone towards the road about 4 or 5 feet. So they don't have to turn all the way around and spray the road. Here comes the wind again. That's why, I don't know if you notice a couple of those, like this sprinkler here, it sprays in a bigger fan than the next couple, because I don't need that one to spray as far across the road. Now this guy, it's way the hell over there. That's 30 feet and he's hitting the road. It's 35 feet probably by the time you get the gap at the foot of the grave. Anyway, pressure still a little low. It's low enough that it concerns me. Okay, so next, I'm gonna go and shut all those back off. There's a valve in the ground there and there. We'll shut those off. I've got 5 or 6 over here that I need to open by hand. Got a valve right there where that sprinkler is, and one farther down. We'll open those, fire this side up, and check it out. And we know down there is okay, it was already running, but I water this whole half at the same time. So we want to check it and make sure. Be with you in a few minutes. Me again. So everything on that side is shutted off. Everything on the south side here is shutted on. I'm sure that's correct. Shut it on. Again, one section we've already accidentally looked at. And what I do with this section, not that I think any of you care, but if you draw a line from this building to that pine tree, to that pine tree, and then turn, anything in this little area here I turn on. With the exception, I put in a sprinkler line here a couple years ago. This does not get turned on with these because it feeds off of the same line running that sprinkler. I turn these on when I turn the north side on there. Pardon me. So, around here, we've got 2 in this row that have to be turned on by hand. 3 in there that have to be turned on by hand. Everything else is valve controlled. If you're in the UK watching this, I don't mean a vacuum tube. Probably should have said that years ago when I started making these stupid videos. Everything looks fine. We did have a sprinkler here across the road last summer that I came out to do this, and it was just laying down. I think it's that one right there. Again, can't see my screen, I'm guessing. Oh, this. We had no power sometime last fall, I think it was. There's a power line. Runs down the conduit on the side of that pole. All the way down to the building. And it broke right there. Electric department had to come fix it. And I haven't got enough grass to cover the thing back up. Yes, it was this one, and I know it was this one because it's got a stake next to it. Yeah, it was just laying down. So, it's fixed. Probably wouldn't, well, I think it's got a clamp on it under ground level there. Yeah, it looks fine here. I see nothing to be upset about. Oh, hold on. Did you see it, ladies and gentlemen? Did you see the problem? It's like Dora the Explorer, but with plumbing. We got a little, that means there was probably water in that. It froze. So we'll flag that one. This one might have one. Because they're angled. Yeah. Grabbing it like that, if it's just water running down, that would divert it. But since it's not, it's just that. Yeah. It's another reason I'm trying to redo a lot of these, is so that's not as big an issue anymore. But if we get any more of those over the summer, I'll find them. So, I don't know, we talked about one across the street there, and I said, that's throwing like 30, 35 feet, right? Well, each row up here is about 10 feet, pretty close. So that sprinkler's sitting at the head of that row, so that's 10 feet. This is more, but this is also 10 feet. Doesn't look like it because that headstone's huge. So that's throwing 10 feet there. It's going to the next row of headstone, so that's 10 feet there. Cut this in half, that's 10, and then we got almost another 10. So these throw 35, 38 feet ish. In what would you call them? Ideal circumstances. It's good to know when you're doing stuff like this. And another really helpful thing to know, well, I missed one, that I have learned, and this is going to be different for everybody. If you're going to do this kind of thing, do it for yourself. What I have done, let's see, that's better, 50, 52 even, that's where it should be. What I have done is I will get the water on, I will get it up and running, up to pressure, just like we were there, and I will put my heel on a sprinkler, and I will walk normal steps. I will walk till the water stops, to where the sprinkler arc stops, and I count my steps. And so I know that for one of these, it's about 14 steps. The water goes a little farther. I think it goes about 15. But you want a little room for them to overlap right at the end, just in case you don't have ideal situation with wind, etc. So when I space these out, I don't have to get a measuring tape and measure exactly. It's 13 foot 2 inches. Oh no, I gotta go back. I gotta cut pipe, or I gotta add a nipple, or I gotta do, It's not chemistry as much as it is physics, And I think you can fudge the numbers a little bit more. So I don't know if there's ever two up here that I've installed from scratch to know exactly how far, but we'll count off of this guy. So I would say if I wanted to put another one over there or over there, that's pretty close, right? So 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So ideally, I would have one right here. Now, in this particular situation, that's a really dumb place to put one because the road's right there. So going out here to the road is fine. And that one would even, like I say, that one I added because we had a whole mess there. But it could have gone farther this way. The reason I didn't put it farther that way is the pipe it feeds off of is 4 inches, and I didn't want to mess with it. So really, I would have put them like right there, 2 feet in off the road. And then that one and that one will both cover in the middle, but going side to side, it's exactly what I would have done. Paste it off that way. All right, let's shut these down. I have one valve on that side to open. I've got a handful of individuals to turn on and off. We'll fire it up and check this one. This may not be terribly exciting to a lot of people. And, not everything I do is. May not be terribly interesting to a lot of people. Not everything I do is. There's two reasons I do this. One, I get asked often enough, what do I do? So, this is part of what I do. But two, sometimes I can go back and watch these and see things I missed. Like those sprinklers that have the little crack right at the bottom. And I'm not going to fix those. They're fine. But should they ever break? Should they get worse? I fix them. But now I'm aware that they are there. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. Well, like right here. Like, see this little guy? There's no reason for him to be there. So when I get around to it, we'll dig that sprinkler up. We'll put it flush to the ground. And we'll cut this thing off flush to the ground. And then you just mow right over the top of it. Don't have to weed eat, don't have to go around it. Is that my headstone lady? I don't think it's my headstone lady, thank God. She texted me yesterday, are you guys working your 8-hour days yet? No. Are you there today? No. That's all she said. Probably means she's coming in tomorrow, which is today. We gotta get that fixed. That's bigger than we can manage, and it's starting to get worse. Anyway, so she'll show up. Can you help me with blah, 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 blah? Which I would say, nope. Sorry, can't do it today. Gotta do the watering system today. Next week. Anyway, so pine tree, ash tree. Everything inside these 3 trees gets turned on. Everything outside gets turned off. When I'm done, we do everything outside in the next batch with the valve right there at the base of that pine tree. Which, that sprinkler right there by that kind of Watterson headstone used to be right in the middle of a row. About 7 feet from that pine tree. So you couldn't get in there to mow. The mower wouldn't fit. That was dumb. Why would anybody do such a thing? I was going to turn off the video and do this, but now we're here. So here's the valve that turns on this section over here. Okay? That sprinkler used to be right here. Smack dab in the middle. Not enough room to get a mower on this side or this side. And if you had the little itty bitty mower, you could just squeeze in there. Oh, it's tight. There we go. Anyway, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 I need to turn on over here. That will turn on all of this section and everything there across the road. And we'll do the same thing. Okay, forgot one thing. This sprinkler line here behind the building. When I started, it wasn't here, so we put it in. We always had kind of a dry spot. And what we did for the first little while is we just ran a hose. And then there's pipe there, and we just hooked it up. And so 2 falls ago, right at the end of the season, I dug a trench from there all the way up to this little cover. The ICV, or irrigation control valve. And unfortunately, I put a PVC ball valve on that. And I really shouldn't have. Because they don't turn worth a damn. It's alright, we got tools. But that one gets run with that side. I think I mentioned that to you once. So, we'll grab, and my work. Man, I think it's stuck today. I need the bigger pliers. Oh, and I forgot to shut those off. There. Was busy talking to you guys. That ain't gonna work at all. I shouldn't be hearing water over there. That's wrong. What I need to attempt to do sometime this spring, or this summer, is run a line off of that sprinkler up to the front, because I've got to water the front of that building with a hose, which is fine. Then you got to get the hose and drag it out, set the sprinklers up and move them, and I've got a separate timer on the hose so I don't forget and leave them on all night. It's annoying. It is worth the extra effort one time to make it work the way I want to then never have to worry about it again in the future. Okay. That's much better. Don't have my flags. That's okay. Ah, sprinkler hit me. Scared me. All right. You go in there so I don't have to look for you. So you may notice these don't quite reach the road. That's why those across the road go in full circles to water over here. Again, not the way I would have done it, but that's the way it is. So it's what I got to deal with, you know. Now, last year, we dug I dug and put a whole new section in up there in that corner where that fence is, because we marked that out, plotted it out for graves. And the way the water line was running out there is there was a water line that would have cut diagonally like 6 graves. So I see one problem right now, right in front of me. I don't see too many other issues. That big guy right there. It's got a couple holes in him. And one of the reasons I think it's happened on this one is because that's coming off a pretty big pipe. So that one will need to fix. We won't wait for it to fail. So way down there on the end that almost always plugs up, it looks okay. That little one in the ground, you might want to take a look at it. Let's take a walk. Those two look okay. I don't know. It's just some weird conglomeration of pipe there I don't understand. That one's okay. A little crooked, but not bad. Out of the way here. That one's all right. A couple years ago, I dug a hole up here where this crooked sprinkler is because we had a valve here. We didn't know what it did, and I wanted to know. So by the time I dug the hole, it was like 6 feet deep and 4 feet across. It was a big hole. All hand dug, of course, and it didn't do anything. Wasn't going anywhere. So right here we have a pipe. It's coming diagonally this way, and then it goes over that way. So I trenched this, and I put in that, and I used what left I had of what I had pipe-wise, because it was the end of the season. And I got this situated to water a little better. So now, when we should need to cut this water line, which is right here, where that dot is, we'll just take it straight across. We'll kind of come over right at the front of this row, and we'll just go right in front of those headstones, tie into that. It's all done. We just put a cap on that. Easy. Someone out for a drive probably said, "What are you going to be done watering?" Something similar to that. Let's see if he wants to stop and talk. Nope, he's leaving. So right about there, there's another little headstone sprinkler poking out of the ground. It's another one I moved. It was right next to the large noble headstone there. And just another one of those that was not where it needed to be. Didn't reach everywhere it needed to reach. So I wasn't going to move it out quite that far, but I had it out, had it set, turned it on, and it wasn't doing as much as I wanted. It was still hitting that headstone just a little bit, so I moved it a little more. Now it's great. So the reason that headstone right back there by those two taller monuments, that one right there, the reason those are on pipe like they are, coming out of the ground like that, is because there's I think it's a 4-inch pipe. Because what comes out of that valve that we opened by that tree is 6-inch. Comes over here, and all the sprinklers in the middle just come right off of that 4-inch pipe. Well, these are 3/4-inch sprinklers. So you got to reduce, you know. You don't go from 4 to 3/4 like that. That's bad. But I wish they would have done it a little different with the layout here, because it's really horrible. So, which one is it? This one and that one, I think. Yeah. We had one sprinkler right here. Actually, there should be a sprinkler right there. I don't think that's where I cut that. It might have been. Now, whatever it was, I just think it was, because I thought I put in 2, and I don't remember it being that one. Anyway, somewhere over here, probably right there. Pipe came in, stopped one sprinkler. It didn't reach far enough that way. It didn't reach far enough that way for the next one. So wherever it was, I'm almost positive it was there now. I came in and I teed and I ran one over there, which gets us between those two. And then I ran one over there, and these two meet kind of in the middle. That one gets us on the other side of the tree. That one gets us on the other side of the tree. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, if you've been paying attention, from this pine tree, if you go 1, 2, 3 trees on that back fence line over, there's a sprinkler. There are no other sprinklers along the fence line up here at all. So what your old pal Jason would have done is, we got that line that runs through the middle. That's great, fine, whatever. But the way they've set these up, it's so bizarre to me that this one's okay where it's at, but this one being here, there should be one there, and then directly across at the fence, either side of those. And then this one should be more centered. But they didn't do that. So some of these rows, like, we're kind of okay here. We get coverage from a couple of different places. But if we come down, like this one, again, should be a little closer to us. That one's fine, but that means that one should have been like 10 feet closer this way. And I don't know if you noticed, but these have to spray all the way around to get that side of the road, because there's no heads on that side of the road. Got a bit of a puddle here. Might need to raise that one a little bit. But nothing along the fence until there, other side of that black headstone. Then you get here, and this one was here. It stood, this tall. These are almost in a line, and that's because I moved that one from out there in the middle. When you come over to the next one, there's one by the fence, so there should be one over here. This is where we buried somebody back in November, I think. The ground was super soft. When we get here, we've got 3 in a line. This one should be like 15, 20 feet that way, and there should be one really right about where those tire tracks are. The 2 on the fence are spaced okay, but then there should be another one on the other side of that tree, where there's 2 not only in a line, but really freaking close together. This one should be over here at the road, so it doesn't have to do the full circle thing. That one should be against the fence, where we're missing one there, and then we should have one in the middle, like right about here somewhere. The whole thing's screwed up, and I don't like it. And that's one of the things I want to make better eventually, before I retire, get fired, or die. That whole section is just screwed up. But the section I'm working on currently, the one I started last year, is that far west one. And I'm doing that one because, number one, this is where the fence got tore down, so I got to do it anyway. But number 2, while that section is worse than that section for headstone placement, it's not nearly as long. So if they need to bury somebody up against the tree, it's 80 feet. If I got to bury somebody up there by that bandstand thing, sometimes they've got to back in all that way. And then it's just a disaster. It's a huge mess. So, speaking of huge mess, that reminds me, it's lunchtime. I'll do one more of these, and then I think I want some lunch. There's only one more left to do anyway, so that worked out. Pressure kind of high on this one. 60, 58, that's okay. I would like to take 8 of that, 58, and move it to one of the other sections. How are these doing? Not bad. I have poured that many, plus that many, plus another 60 of those, I think, this season. Well over the winter. And by over the winter, I mean since like January, because I didn't get started till late. Ah! So again, not paying attention. Anyway, we'll shut all this down. My next 2 valves are over there across the road. So, see you for that. Well, my phone was nearly dead, so you missed the really big, dramatic problem. Got a lot of water over here. This is the last, well, that is the last sprinkler on the line. It's shut off right now because it's broken. So all that water from all of that is trying to get out right there. So we'll need to work on that a little bit. But this guy, oh man. I turned the water on, blew the head clean off. Because as I said, this is the last one in the line. If I crack that open, that one slows down, this one picks up, shut it off, that one will pick back up. So we're gonna replace this one because she don't work no more. Yeah, after that last video, my phone's like, you're like 12%, buddy, you better stop. And I said, oh, I'm sorry, I had no idea. So, yeah. Just to give you an idea of how much pressure there is still in this line, even though nothing's running. That one's pretty much just stopped. And then, all right. So I grabbed a few. You just thread that right back on there like that. May need to set the phone down because this should have a 2.5 gallon. Well, it's got an 8 in it. I've used that one before. That's got a 6 in it. So we're going to take the 6 out of this one. Take the 8 out of that one. We'll put the 6 in this one. Because we don't need an 8 to do a half. 6 can do a half just fine for us. And then, yeah, we'll get her set. Okay, we got our nozzles changed. Now we need to adjust. And these... This is the, what is it, 75i? Yeah, RPS 75i from K-Rain. This has a different top on it because it's Sprinkler World. It's branded. This one up here, this is the set screw to hold the nozzle in and help disperse. We need no dispersion on here, so it's just in enough to hold the nozzle in place. Excuse me. Some of you know what this is all about. There's a little hole right here. That's if you need to raise the thing and you don't want to take it apart. Put that in, turn it, now you can pull. You can lift up. Arc, that is this one. This is how far it opens and closes. If I remember right, these are a right-hand stop. The 1-inch Pro Sports are a left. I could be wrong on that. The 75i, I for intelligent, that's what this one is. This says flow. and you put this in, and you turn it one way, the minus sign way. Well, actually, let's do it like this. I'll go ahead and turn that all the way back to plus, because we got one. We got one right here. Okay? So if we put our key in flow, and we turn it to the minus side, what we've done, I don't know if you can see in there, turn it back to the plus way. You see a little difference? Turn it back to the minus. What that does is it closes that opening inside there, a little white piece that rotates. And what we've done is we've closed it. What you want that for, supposedly, I don't ever use it for this, is if you want to cut down the volume, but also the throw. So on this little dispersion thing, this will kind of do that, but it also cuts the volume down as well as the spray. Or what I have used these for is you just close it all the way. That turns it off, but there's still water under it, so it will still pop up. So if you want to change the nozzle without shutting your water off, you can do it that way. That's what that's for. Now, believing this to be a right-hand stop, and what I mean by that is I am standing behind it. This is where the water comes out. It goes that way. Turn it all the way to the left. I turn it all the way to the right. So that's where it stops. So it won't come any farther than here. It's going to stop there. So take this. Don't turn it. It's pointing east. So I want to put this in the canister pointing east. Now it's going to go to there, which is fine. Could go a little bit farther. So what we do in that situation, take our key, we put it in the arc, and we're going to give it just a little turn. And here's where we find out if it's a right or a left. So it's all the way left. Give it a little turn. Now it's going farther than it was before. So it is a right-hand stop. We don't adjust this. We adjust how far it opens, not how far it closes. So, all right, back to where it opens and stops. We turn it to the minus side. It's now going to stop there. So we're going to get a half circle this side of the fence, which is where we want. Now we can go ahead and open this one. That water will run out of that down to here. And I'd much rather have it running out of here than up there, because this is farther downhill anyway. It would be great if it wouldn't run out at all, but that is not how these work. And the old ones we had really didn't work like this. So the neighbors don't seem to mind if they've said anything. It hasn't got back to me. Okay, so this has got a split in it right there, where that little piece of Teflon tape is. Basket's relatively clean. We will save that, because sometimes we got to clean these. This is those couple we had that were just kind of dribbling water. These get dirty. So take them out and clean them. It's a little quicker to just replace them. So we'll save that. Don't need that, 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 don't need that. And I got a couple extra. We're going to go change that one on the other side. That was pretty bad. And yeah, that was the worst one. So not too shabby. So here's the one we pulled off of that riser. And it has a crack right there. was it. Yeah, looks like that was it. Doesn't feel great. Feels pretty wimpy right there. There's a seam there. When I took it apart, gave it a shake, a couple rocks fell out. So I think a rock got caught down there. But you can see this crack goes all the way up on the bottom. Right by that 0 and that 1 up inside the threads. Everything else on it is just fine. So it had an 8 in it. We pulled the 8 out. We're going to save that. Here's our new one. Just like the other one. And we have a little easier install on this one. Not that the other one was hard, mind you. We got a little easier install on this one. Because this one is a full circle. It's going to get an 8, size 8 nozzle. Kind of tight. Unscrew the top. Yeah, 2.5. That's nothing. We need way more than that. Yeah, I'm going to need 2 hands to do this, so. I'll set y'all down here for just a second. Two and a half is out. Eight is in. Set screw is down. Okay. Tighten that. Now, since this one's going in a full circle, we don't care where it starts and stops. We don't. So we go into the arc and we just turn it up till it stops. There we go. That's it. She done. Didn't have any others that needed any immediate attention. We had the couple over there that had the little splits on the bottom, but they weren't bad, so I'm not going to worry too much about those. So this is all waste over here. That's waste. That's waste. That's waste. All right. I've got to stop by up there. We'll throw those away. Got a little addition to another project to do, and then we'll see where we're at. I have a burial coming in today, and they should be here in the next half hour, so I think. I'm not sure what time it is, but it feels almost 2 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Some of you may have noticed a couple of these sitting in my cart. These are inline shutoff valves for a garden hose. When I spray or do my temporaries, I use that wheelbarrow, and I gotta get water to them. So, used to be that hose was just on the ground and it was terrible, so I bought this hose reel and all of this to just make the job a little cleaner, a little less annoying. This hose sucks, so I'm going to get rid of it. This hose reel's not great. I've seen better, seen worse. But the way this is kind of wrenching on that, I had some drips down there. You can see it's a little wet because it's been dripping around this thing. So what I'm going to do, we're going to undo this. This is not to fix the drip. This is to fix something else. Because avoid all the electrical. My shutoff is still right there. And put that water right back down there in the well. How about that? And that's fine. But if I'm over here doing this, you know, I'd much rather shut it on and off up here. So I need to do some conversion here. And I think somewhere out here, I've got the stuff to do it. But what we're going to do... Oh, no, we don't need to do any conversion. What am I talking about? We're going to put this guy on. Put that on there. Nice and tight. Okay. We're going to put this guy on here. Nope, sorry. Just like that. Tuck that over there out of the way. So now I can leave this on, which doesn't leak. I can come up here. Is that leaking? I've never seen that before in my life. Well, I'll be damned. All right. Well, we'll just open that then. That's why I bought two. I bought a plastic one and a metal one because I thought this one doesn't need to be metal. It's not heavy duty. I have never seen one of those do that. Pressure at the line. Screw this guy again. So this is actually not bad because we can use this as a visual for that valve that's leaking in the ground. It's doing the same thing. Water's coming in and it's hitting the valve and stopping, but as soon as we open it, it's coming up a little bit. So there's somewhere in there, right on top of that, there's just a little gap that there shouldn't be. So we'll put this one on. Okay. Heater turned on, made my hose fall down, startled it. Okay. Get back here. Okay, no water. Water. Open that. Let's the water go through here, down to the sprayer. And this is where it was leaking earlier. Right in there. I feel like that should clip on there a little better than that. See? Got a drip. Which, you know, that's okay. That's only going to drip when it's on, but now I can turn it off here and not have to go down there and on and off and on and off. Just rolling the thing up is just terrible. And this hose sucks. I got to get a different hose on here. It's got a twist in it somewhere, and you can't... Yeah. Anyway. I think that's all I got for you today, folks. Thanks for joining me. All right, folks, it's 3 something. This is where we had a little bit of a geyser over here somewhere. And I do believe that's it. Yep, got a split right there. So, this feeds from up that way. Hits the corner, takes a right, comes up to here. I could cut cut patch, or I could replace. So we're going to do that. We're going to replace this whole section, because if it's split there, it's sitting right on top of a root. It's just going to do it again. So get the grinder, we'll cut it on each side, pull the whole chunk out, unthread what little is left on each side, and then replace it. How do we want to go about doing that? We could replace it with galvanized all the way. I've got a little coupler that's female thread on both ends, but has a nut in the middle. I forget what they're called. We don't use them very much around here. It kind of like that, but threads instead of just compression. So I think that's what we'll do. We'll do that up here. Before I get started on that, take a walk with me. This is where we had our big puddle of water earlier today. You remember the puddle. What are these things? This thing. That's not our puddle of water. That's just the thing I was talking about. So, several years ago, right over here, long before my time, they coupled and put a line in from that sprinkler coming up this way. There it is. Look, you can see it. It takes off this way. And look, more of those things. I forget what they're called. Anyway, this feeds one sprinkler, and then boom, that's where our break was. That's where all that water's coming out of. It attached to that, ran all the way down that way to do all that other stuff. So here's what I'm going to do. Just to, there's no point, I can see, because we're redoing the whole line all the way down, right? We're going to redo it. From that valve box that I showed you that we put in down there, maybe 150 feet from where we're standing. There's no sense in replacing all of that, coming down here to where I've got an 1.5 inch pipe that's coming up and then immediately turning into 1 inch. And then running 1 inch for 30 feet. That's dumb. We ain't doing that. So I'm going to come up here. I'm going to cut this. I'm going to pull this bushing out if I can. I might need the real big wrench for that. And I'm going to cap that. I'm going to put a valve in it that I can put a cap on it for now, because we don't need water coming out of there. Everything on this side is fine. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to come out of that 1.5 inches. And however much 1.5 inches I got, we're just going to run it right on top of the ground for now. Run it down as far as I can. Where that valve box exists up there already, it's 1.25 inches. So we'll run 1.5 inches down as far as I can. Maybe halfway. I could go farther. I don't see any reason to really go farther, because we'll tie it into that box where I put those valves that are 1.25 inches. And then it'll continue on down that way, 1.25 inches. So I'm just gonna, they ripped it out up to where the new fence starts. You can see it's a little different color. So I'm just gonna rip the rest of it out. That's the plan. So a little more work with a grinder on that. Like I said, might have to go get the really big pipe wrench to take care of that. But I think it's okay. Why did I flag that one? You guys remember why I flagged that one? Was that one spraying funny? I have to go back and look at the video. No, maybe. Yep, I think right there. I don't remember this one being bad. That's a scratch. Oh, maybe this one was plugged. Yeah, I think this one was plugged. Take it back to the cart, take a look. See what we can see. I guess I'll have pliers in my pocket. I do. There we go. This is not my cart, so it doesn't have any of my tools in it. It's a little sludgy. A little gross. I have this cart instead of my cart because, yeah, I think that's just a little plugged up. I have this cart and not my cart because this one was closer to the door. So all that came out of here. So we'll just take one of those clean screens, pop in there, pop it back together. Job's done. Let's go throw that back on when I head that way. For now, we're going to cut this one though. So time to get to work. Hey there. So I got this taken apart, and I got this taken apart. I thought, this is moving a heck of a lot. So follow it down. You get a union right there. Like, oh, that's easy. I can work with that. I follow it down. You have this weird little clamp thing holding it down, and there's another union right there. So I'm going to take from that union all the way down out. I'm going to put a whole new piece in here, all the way down, because that sprinkler hits everything in here. This one, I don't think we really need that one, to tell you the truth, because when I started, these were all 1/2-inch sprinklers, and we upgraded them to 3/4 so they would throw a little farther. Now that one right there would do a lot better if this tree wasn't here, and I can come and trim this. But we talked about how far those throw, and it's about 30 feet. That's the end of a block. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 graves. So right here, that's about 20 feet. 20 feet to the fence. So that one just about covers the whole thing. Now that sprinkler that is right by the break is really only doing this little bit right here. It's not doing anything over there. We've got one there, one there. We've got one there, right there. And that one, if we give it the same benefit of the doubt, 10, 20, it's going to hit right about here. So really, that one doesn't need to be there. So here's my thought. And this has got this union thing here because, you know, the old guy loved those. The guy who was working here a long time ago, he loved the heck out of those. That's where all of my problems are coming from. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come up here and take this elbow off. I'm going to put a T here. And I'm going to T this all the way down to that next sprinkler. And then I'm going to come over here, right in between these two trees. Right here. And I'm going to put another one right here. And that'll take care of this. That'll take care of that. That'll reach everything that one doesn't reach, and that one doesn't reach. And that one won't have to move. Yeah, easy. I might even be brave and take it apart at that union and see if that's threaded. And if it's threaded, I'll put a real coupler on it. And if it's not threaded, I'll thread it and I'll put a real coupler on it. Ain't nobody gonna stop me. Also, I don't know what all this mess is, because this isn't going anywhere. There's just a lot of pipe laying here, so I'm going to get that cleaned up too. So for now, I'm not going to do anything else on this, because I don't know what I've got for pipe. I mean, there's a ton of pipe there, but it'll require cutting and threading and measuring. It's too late in the day for me to want to mess with that. That's fence top rail, because I guess at one point we had to take this fence down to get somebody in here to bury him. But I don't know why it... there it is. Where did it come from? There's new top rail, so that's going to go away. I'm going to get rid of a bunch of this crap. Don't need it anymore. Anyway. Let's head over that way. Start taking care of that. We're back. I need one of those and some of that. So good news. This end's threaded. So we're going to put our coupler there. We'll measure out to here. That's the piece that was there. I'll cut that. I dug a little bit of a channel, a little bit of a trench here, nothing fancy. That's where T will go. And then we'll replace all the way up to, not this sprinkler, but the second sprinkler, because we can get rid of this one. We'll replace that whole segment. There is a union right here. So I'm hoping it's threaded under that. It's probably not, but it would be nice. It's not threaded there. But if we can do that, we'll couple it there. We'll run this piece first to here. Okay. Run that piece in, and then we'll take our other piece and it'll come out. I think that's 10 feet pole to pole, so we'll come this way about 8 feet. And we'll just take that sprinkler head that's there, we'll relocate it there. It'd be great. No problem at all. We didn't look at this, maybe we should have. So there's a pipe, comes under the road. All those sprinklers kind of in a row there, right about there. It's right on top of that pipe. This one, right on top of that pipe. Right there, probably 1.5 inches. And then out of that, they came out elbow, union, another one of those lovely unions. I don't know what we call them. I call them a union. And then it goes all the way down that way. Now, what they should have done, what I would have done, is I would have dropped that about 1 foot, put that underground, made that come out 1 inch. You don't need that union. You don't need 2 elbows. You come out 1 inch, same place. You go over 1 inch, and then you tee off 3/4 each way. That's what I would have done. Got a low spot right there. Someone's buried there. Keep an eye on that. That might be a leak. Could be. Anyway. So, we got our coupler here. And the reason I prefer this over those unions are compression. I don't know if we've ever looked at them. I'm sure we have. Excuse me. They don't actually attach to the pipe. So here's your 3/4 pipe. Here's your 3/4 union. And then inside, you got one of these. And inside that, there's a gasket. This goes on. It's got a little bit of a barb on it. But then this would go on, and I cut it to get it off because it's easier. And then this goes on. And then inside here, there's a washer, a little metal flat washer. Looks a lot like this, except this one's not metal. And the newer ones, they're metal. And then you tighten it, and as you tighten it, it squeezes this, which makes it shrink down around the pipe. So water is inside the pipe, but it's also in here. That's why that's all gross and cruddy inside, because water sits in here. So the only thing keeping that water in is this, and however tight you have this. When you put one of these on, there's nothing. The water throws in here into here and never gets on the outside of the pipe, so it takes up a lot less room. One benefit to the unions is this really needs to sit right about there. So you've got 2.5 inches of wiggle room, and what you want to do is you want to scoot this all the way down one end. You have your nut and your gasket and everything back here, and then you have your other piece of pipe. You have your nut and your gasket back here, and you bump them up together. And then what I usually do is, if this is in the ground, I'll make a little scratch mark in the ground here so I know where those two pipes meet, and then I will get that as close to the middle as I can. So, that's not fitting because it's all barbed and screwed up, but basically you want the two pipes to meet as close to the center of that as you can. They work all right, but like I've said, almost every situation I've run into where there's been a bad connection and a pipe out in the cemetery, it's been because of these. And one thing I really don't understand, like this over here. So when I have taken some of these off, I expect to pull the union off and find that cut pipe, no thread. But what I end up finding is I pull the union off, there's thread there. Just put a coupler on it. Just put it like this. Like this. I can see the line where this pipe runs. It's right there. I can see it. And it comes to here, and it goes this way. So why is that there? Why not just put a single piece of pipe all the way up to here? That piece isn't ever going to leak. I mean, unless it does what that one did. That was just pressure from getting frozen. But if it's all one piece, and then you go that way, that's one pipe. That's probably 2 or 3 pieces put together. But you have, this is 2 places. It's one hole in the pipe, but it's 2 places that pipe can fail. And here's something else about this that I hate. And I don't know why they've done it. They've done it here. They did it on the next one. They did it on that one right over there. Water drains downhill, right? That is higher than this. So the water runs down here, and then it runs down here, and it has nowhere to go. It can't get back down in there to drain through the drain that's up there or the drain that's down there. It can't drain. So it just sits in here and freezes, and eventually this is going to fail because ice has gotten in there and expanded it and messed with that union. I think it's garbage. I hate that that's how they did it. It looks like crap. It's inefficient because we came out of that 1.5 inches, and then we dropped down there to 1 inch, but then I had to drop down there to a 3/4 to run that head because 1 inch head here is too much. And then we got another 3/4. Just it drives me nuts. It literally drives me nuts a little bit, just to see how poorly designed and planned that was, because that's lazy. You know what I mean? We use that union so we don't have to thread a pipe. Oh, just thread the pipe. Oh my God. Anyway, I gotta do some measuring. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4.5 feet. Up to the fence. 4.11 from the fence to the coupler. But if we come over to that, look at that. 4 feet, 5.5. Mama didn't raise no dummy. She raised a measuring idiot savant. Invariably, someone's going to say, well, that pipe you pulled out, why won't it just fit? And sometimes it will. Sometimes it won't. Like we said, you've got play inside that union, so it doesn't always work. So this will work. It'll be a little tight, but it'll work. Because really, that 53.5 right there is going to be where we want this to be. We want the middle of that coupler to be there. So if we can get that pipe threaded in all the way, we'll be there. So we'll be off a little bit. Right? Alright, so that's not too bad. We'll pull this elbow off. We'll take this down to the shop. We'll get our pipe threader. Thread that end. Put the T on either end. Right. T goes there. That end will thread into that. We'll have the T. Out of one end of the T, we'll have that 8-foot piece coming over to where we're moving the sprinkler to. And then we'll have the other piece, which is going to be 10, 15, probably about 18 feet to grab us onto where that other pipe's sitting. And we will more than likely just keep a union on that, as much as I dislike them. And we'll do that because I can't put a coupler there. Because if I screw the coupler onto this pipe, then I have to screw the entire pipe onto this pipe, which means I can't, because it's connected there. And if I don't connect it there first, I can't screw this piece of pipe 2 different directions at the same time. That's what those other little funky things are for. This thing. Because on a working one, this is fixed, these are not. So this can turn one way, this can turn one way. This is solid. So you can put one piece in, tighten this, and it connects them in the middle. That's what those are for. And I prefer those over those, but that will be a better situation to use that. So head back down to the shop, get this elbow taken off, thread that end, and I think it's about 4:45, which means by the time I get down there, everything put away, it's going to be go home time. So we got I don't want to say we accomplished, we didn't finish a lot today, but we accomplished a lot today. That's a pretty good first day. Plus we had a burial right at the end of the day. And I had to go on a parts run, and I had to pour some cement first thing in the morning. We had to test the water, and we had to go look at that mess up there and fix a couple broken sprinklers. So yeah, we did a good job. See you guys next time. My people. There you go. You remember the other day it was snowing? It was like 70 degrees today. It broke my windshield in my car, going from as cold as it was to as hot as it was that quick. There's a big old crack about 3 inches down, all the way across the top. Did I need that in my life right now? No. Am I dealing with that right now? Yes. So I took out some frustrations. And I've noticed that this wall, I don't know if you can see them. In this little, there's a light there. Follow that. There's a light there. There's a big hole up there in the corner. Not like put your fist through, but a hole, there shouldn't be a hole. I did a little work on this fan a while ago. I need to put a little daub of something behind that medallion there. But that's high now, man, and it's doing a damn good job. There's a pile. You've seen the pile. I have not seen the pile. What I can get of that in the dumpster will go in the dumpster. I have some strings in here from the nice people over at Just Strings, where I get my strings, because they have strings. They don't have Just Strings, so I think their name's a little off. So, DR Sunbeam 11s, best acoustic guitar strings I've ever used. They almost always, oh, yep, sent me a sticker, sent me a business card. We got like 9 of those. Mic stand pick holder. I usually get these and cut them in half because I don't need 7 picks. I need about 3. So this goes on your mic stand and picks clip in it. So cut that in half. I needed one for gigs and for here, and I have one on my gig stand. And another pair of sunbeams. Set of sunbeams. Really, really love those strings. Hey, DR, hook a guy up. You've made enough money on me in the last couple of years. Where else? That joint right there, there's some light. That is not light. So, do you remember that stuff we painted on the floor in here? The rubbery stuff that's still, to this day, stuck on my shoe? Well, when we get this thing all tore up, we're going to do the walls. We'll do the walls and the floor. Not so much for seepage, but like I want to get in there. There, you see that? So we'll get in there and we'll fill all that in from the inside. Just had some newspaper crammed in there. We got a nice big crack there, but we've got an extra jar of foam. So we'll foam the corners. We'll roll on some of that other stuff. Yeah. This is my last Miller Lite. There's some High Life in there. Just craving a Miller Lite tonight, you know? I used to really like dunk on light beer. I'm like, well, God, it just tastes like water. It's because I was drinking crummy light beer, like Bud Light. I don't 100% know what we're gonna do with this wall. I gotta get that off. I mean, if I could, honestly, what I think I'd like to do is if we just take this and we just go all the way up and we just take everything from here over off. I could work with that. I could redo it, but I don't know, man. That's gonna be tough. We could just panel over it. That'd be all right with me. We'll see. I stopped here because I noticed when we were working on the toilet the other day, there's no closet bolts holding it to the floor. So we'll move that and we'll keep going. We'll rip out the heater, get rid of that thing, get rid of that. Take our super great toilet paper roll holder, which I've not even used, down. And this will probably be end of the week, weekend work. I think Yeah, it was real dusty tearing this thing out. And this guy, I'm glad I salvaged you, buddy. Good fan. My biggest fan. Second biggest. Bigger than average. Okay, so this window is just in the way these are supposed to work. And I don't know if this one does it because it's so small. Jesus Christ. They're supposed to be. There's a hook kind of on the bottom. And inside this channel, it runs up and there's either a spring or a weight. And when you open it, the weight or the spring puts tension here so it holds up. And then when you close it, it goes the other way. This one clearly, because I can just pop this whole thing out from the inside, not from the outside. Clearly does not have that function anymore. So, yeah, that's about all I can do because that's going to more than fill the dumpster. So, we better stop there for now. Look at this. See all that room they left? They could have gone over another 3 inches. Made this bathroom just a tiny bit bigger. Don't know why they didn't. Still not done. Okay. Well, that's going to do it for this edition, segment, episode, whatever. Got some pizza inside with my name on it. Double check. Yep. Okay. I will see you all later. Good morning, my friends. We are up here where the new fence is. And we're going to do a little measuring. So here's the plan. We're going to come off of this box towards where we put that new valve in yesterday. We're going to come 20 feet. That's one stick. And then from there, why are you not there we go. From there, we're going to measure the rest of the way to that other valve. So starting from here, there's our 20. Not quite 2 posts, because these posts are 10 feet apart. So, reset. Over here, and we go. Doesn't have to be straight. Excuse me. We're going to round up to the nearest 20 anyway, because these sticks are, I think they're actually 21 feet. But, you can buy 8 feet. They're going to sell you 20. They'll cut 8 feet off and give you the 8 and the 12. So you just buy the 20. You know what I'm saying? Up and over that root. And over this way. Over this way. Boom. That's pretty much exactly 180 feet, 179.6. So we get 200 feet of 1.5 inches. So let's write that down. Where did I put my notepad? There it is. One half equals 200 feet. Like I said, that's more than we need But I'd rather have a stick too much than a stick too few. Alright. Now we're going to come back to our box. We're going to measure out going the other way, plus 20 feet. Coming back, this way, to the south. I need to come and rip out all this pipe. We're going to, like this piece right here, this piece is fine, but we're going to cut it off there because it's got a bend in it. We won't use it. This piece, bend a couple places, cut it there. This is all still half buried up here. But then I can thread all the good ends and we'll have a happy time. Alright. From here, go all the way down to that tree. So many broken sprinklers. So this is where we stopped last year, where this gate is. When the dude backed into our fence. That's why this is getting done. Now, we're not, well, the boss isn't sure, I should say. I'm pretty sure. The boss isn't sure how we want to go about moving forward with this. But I think I know what I want to do. So we came up to 238, which means if we came the rest of the way to this post, we'd be about 243. So we are going to call this 260 inch and a quarter, 260, plus the 20 for the other end, 280. So we'll just go 300. Because we might be able to do something there. I only need one sprinkler in here. And I could run a 3/4 inch line and just drop one right about here, smack dab in the middle of these two trees. Because that side, that corner, the boss wants to put a sprinkler right up there in that corner. And I think that's a dumb idea because that tree's gonna get all the water. So I want to put some along the road out there. So if I put one right about there, just about the middle of your screen, we'll be covered here. Okay, that's what I need to know for that. Now that water line I was working on yesterday up under the other pine trees, I went home, and because work follows me home sometimes, which is not what you want at a cemetery. Oh yeah, I gotta seed that. There's a sprinkler here. It used to be one of those ones sticking up out of the ground. It's not anymore. But what I'm saying, anyway, by the time I've taken apart and redone and set this and set that and respaced my sprinklers and everything down under those pine trees way over there, I think it's going to be less work for me if I just take the whole thing out and put a whole new one in. I think it's going to be a little easier that way. I won't have to worry about any unions or any dopey stuff like that. We'll take that line that's running up from the pine, or from the feed line sprinkler, and I'll just build a whole new one off of that. There's enough scrap pipe up there to do it. Look, it's my cart. Full of tools, full of everything. So, let's go take a trip over there and do some more measuring. Still gotta trim trees. Gotta do that. That one at least really needs to come down. We got a couple that's gonna take the electric company to do. All right. So we're still going to leave this as it is. I'm not ambitious enough to dig up and trench this yet. Maybe another day. So we'll come up here. And we know we're going about 8 feet this way. So whatever number I get on this, we'll add 10. Because 10's easier than 8. So from here, and this isn't going to be accurate because I got this big old root and everything. We're going to go boom. 60 feet plus 8 is 70. Well, plus the 10, I mean. And same thing, we'll need 80 for this. This used to go all the way up to that sprinkler there in the corner, but we broke that because that line feeds from a different valve than this line. So if you had that one open, it would try and fill everything that this feeds, and if you had this one open, it would try and feed everything that runs. This is not great. Remember to put a new head on that one because we cleaned it out. So let's take a look here. This is fine. Up to there's coupler, that's fine. Real short piece to a coupler, that's not great, that's okay. You got a T there, that's fine. Assuming they coupled it in the middle because that's what they do. Got another one there. We got a union. Broken right there because we pulled it apart from this one. So here's the thing with, because when I started, these were all 1/2-inch sprinklers and they sprayed out to about here, you know, maybe 10 feet, which was fine, but you know, they need to get out here. So what I'm gonna do is, if I can get a full piece of pipe like this one right here, this is a full piece. It's got a T in it down there, and then the far end of it's all bent to hell, so we'll get rid of that. When we come up here, put our T in, we'll take that full length, we'll put it here. Okay, our other one will be there. So, and I'm going to replace these with some low angles, and I'm going to put them a lot shorter. Those are way too high. So they'll be short. They'll be, you know, inch or two off the pipe. So it will spray under the pine tree instead of into the pine tree. So from here, we go 20 feet. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's not quite 10, 20 and a little more. So we'd actually be more like right here. That's fine. We put a sprinkler down there at that end. We put one here. 2, 5. Another one right about where that is, and another one right about where that is. Yeah, that's fine. that'll be a little easier. So this piece right here, from that T, we'll get rid of because you can see it's all bent and screwy. This is fence post down here, all top rail stuff. I'm going to haul that off. I'm just going to take this whole thing apart. Anything that's 3/4 inch up here, it has a sprinkler in it. Just going to take it apart. And I'll just build a new one. And if I build it from the T out and go up to our T and then over, and that side's done, and then I could just build this one as we go. It'll take a little longer, but I won't need any of those weird couplers or those weird unions. It can just be straight pipe to pipe. Go together easier, come apart easier when it needs to, not when it shouldn't. And it'll just work better. So, first thing I want to do is get all that garbage out of there. It won't fit in my little cart, so I'll go grab my truck, come up here and just pull out everything that I can pull out. Take it back down to the shop, take it all apart, load it and whatever else I've got for 3/4 inch. It's a longish size piece. Come back up and start putting it together. Be done by 8:30, 8:45 now. Be done by 11:30. That's my plan. Have burial coming up tomorrow, right there. Can't even mark that out. It's an awful lot of flags. Some are for headstones, some are for an urn. Got a burial over there Friday. It's all ready to go. Yeah. Should be just fine, ladies and gentlemen. Should be just fine. Now, I've left my cart running here because the battery was deader than dead when I got to it this morning. So it's been running a while. I think it's fine now. Okay. Grab some gloves. Not 4 pairs, 2 pairs. Well, 1 pair is plenty. Stay there. I don't think I need any of the tools for right now. Well, we're going to take stuff apart. Pipe wrenches. We'll just take it all apart up there, load it in here. The top rail, anyway, we'll throw all in the truck. And I'll work on sprinklers. Getting that line put back together. That's not going to be terribly exciting. I'm running out of room on my phone because I forgot to take all the videos off yesterday, so probably won't see much of that project. But, you know, pipe goes into the twisty bit, you twisty it, and then you're done. I don't know what more you would want from me in that situation. See you later. Hey, we're back. Small change of plans. There's a whole rut of pipe right over there, just the other side of that tree, that I can't get apart. I try, put my wrenches on it, I go to town, as I am one to do, and so this piece, yeah, I just end up crushing it. It's not rounded no more. So, change of plans. We're still going to do the same thing, but we're going to use PVC instead of galvanized. It's just easier to work with. And the neighbor folks here have a PVC line that's going to be 6 inches away from ours, and it's been fine, so I ain't too concerned about it. Basically, everything's going to be the same. We're just changing out materials. So I will be removing this coupler because the fitting I have will replace that. Excuse me. We glue it. Might get my shovel and try and dig that down a little bit. Glue it, T over, up, and then on down the line. Pretty simple, easy stuff. What'd I tell you? About 11:30? Well, it's just about 11:30 now. And I had to run to the store and get some PVC pipe. So, there's our new one. There's a replacement. There's a replacement. And there's a replacement. We've gotten rid of 4 that were really much closer together than they needed to be, and replaced them with 4 that are a little more responsibly spaced, I guess. And we know these throw about 14 steps, 13 steps, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Right there. And we've got another sprinkler right there. I think we're good. So this is another thing. When I started this job a couple of years ago, this sprinkler line here that ran along the fence had a bunch of little 1/2-inch pop-up sprinklers that spray maybe, I think they sprayed about 12 feet. And there's 600 feet of fence. So you know how many sprinklers they had up there? 1 every 10 feet. That's a lot. So one of my first jobs when I came in, I took all of those out and we went and put some of these 3/4 inch in, like these. Cut it way down. They had better coverage, better pressure. Yeah, it's all right. I don't mind it one bit. This is a really damn nice day today, ladies and gentlemen. We got a little bit of wind, but it's also kind of warm, and under the shade, it's like perfect. If I was out there doing something in the sun, I'd be hot today. I'm glad I'm not. So, I had one screw up with this project. It was an easily fixable screw up, but I did have one screw up. The T's I wanted to use here, I needed slip on the 2 sides, and I wanted a thread on the top, and I didn't have any of those, and I didn't really want to go back and get some more, so I made it work with just slip on each side. I had some of these adapters, couplers, to go from a slip to a thread. I just cut about 3 inches of pipe there, and yeah, that keeps them low enough. I think I'm still gonna need to trim that for sure, and those for sure, and probably this one, because I think that one's gonna break before too long anyway. So yeah, we'll get the heads put on, we'll get them adjusted. I brought some clamps, some hose clamps that we're gonna clamp around the pipe to the post where possible, just to keep everything even a little more up against the fence. It's not going to want to do this much down here, but there's going to be a little tendency for that to want to flex, so we're going to try and take care of that. If I see the neighbors, I need to let them know. Where was it? Down here. They got a break. So if I see them around, I need to remember to holler at them. They're going to run into the same problem I had. Turn the water on, they're going to have a lake before they know it. Anyway, that's it for that. Of the, let's see, I bought 200 feet of pipe. I brought 80 up here, I've got about 6 left. So, yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. It's a bummer that I couldn't salvage more of this, but it just wasn't gonna work the way I wanted it to. Some of it I couldn't even, well, you saw, couldn't get it apart. Like this whole length here was not, and I would have had to cut it at every coupler, because if it doesn't come apart, I don't want to keep it. I'll replace it with something that will come apart. Anyway. Yeah. So I'll just get those installed, and then I think it's going to be near enough lunchtime for lunch. Before we wrap up, I did catch the neighbor. He was very appreciative. We talked a little bit about these trees. We got some branches over there. I told him I was going to get him cleaned up today. I saw him yesterday. I just didn't have time to do it yesterday. This is all done. I'm going to get some dirt and kind of smooth it out, cover it up a little bit. Not go crazy, but make it a little more eye appealing. But everything's as it should be. I'm listening to a story. Like, I listen to audiobooks at work. I'm making my way through all of Stephen King's books. But I had started one over the winter, because I only listen to them at work, really. But I started one over the winter, because I also fall asleep to them. Horror audiobooks, man. Nothing puts me out. Harlan Ellison, Lovecraft, Algernon Blackwood, all those people. Right. So I grabbed this one that came fans of this will like this, and it's called The Witch in the Well. I don't remember who wrote it, but it plays at night. I'm half paying attention. I'm asleep. Whatever. So I'm listening to it at work now, and one of our main characters is like a social media influencer. And my God, our author has really, I think, nailed it, because I cannot stand this woman. Everything about her is annoying. We're reading, it's like Dracula, Bram Stoker style. We're reading more diary entries and things like that than actual events happening. It's all told kind of past tense, And she posts stuff online. And whenever she makes a post, she has to put in the hashtags. And it's like, God, you're insufferable. I really cannot stand you. I hope something really terrible happens to this lady. I really do. Does that make me a jerk? Yes. Do I care? No. Don't be annoying. Don't be annoying. And it's all very, she's one of these, like, I went on a soul journey, and I have crystals under my pillow when I sleep so I dream better, and I wrote a book, and it was about learning how to talk to your own soul. And it's just, Jesus Christ, lady. There's some realism in that. I know people like that. If you're watching this and you're one of those people, yeah, you annoy the hell out of me too. I tolerate you because I probably have to, but I am a Come on, Milwaukee. Okay. That is just something that just absolutely drives me nuts. Okay, that's done. I'm gonna go eat my lunch. Come back with either my truck or a different cart. We'll chop up and dispose of the rest of that pipe because it ain't worth saving. And get those branches cleaned up for the neighbor while I'm at it. So these are all the extras I brought. This is what I was attempting to do with these tees that were supposed to be threaded inside. These were going to go in there. And then this on there. Didn't happen. That's fine. We've got a little heat gun. And I might come out and just run over where that pipe's coming up over the tree. We'll see. One of the other reasons I wanted to do this, like if that galvanized breaks, that's a bigger fix than if this PVC breaks, and it will probably break. We'll probably get a snap here or there around that tree because of the roots, but it's a lot easier for me to cut, and then bore out in that fitting. We've got a little cutter tool now that goes inside a fitting and cuts the pipe out from inside the fitting. Put a new pipe in, glue it. That'll take me 15 minutes. If it's galvanized, it's going to take me half an hour or longer. I may have to do this more often. I don't think so. We've got galvanized like this in a couple, or PVC like this a couple other places, and it's not been an issue. So we'll see. Where's my jail crew? I thought they were, they're probably having lunch too. We have some people here doing community service today, raking up all these pine cones. It's pretty bare. Oh, there's the neighbor. He's back. All right, well, he probably doesn't want to be on camera, so we won't get him on there. But yeah, that's the one thing I wanted to get done today. Done. I'll go and clean up that yard for him. I'll go and work on that valve that I said I had to dig up. And then that's pretty much all I got today. Before I hit the road, we got all our pipe that we measured out this morning. So tomorrow, not today, ain't gonna finish today. I don't know, what time is it? Come on, radio. I don't need to know that I'm listening to 94.9, 322. I could probably get a lot of it done today. But sprinklers, fittings, extra glue, because, you need all that.